That's right. Welcome to another Tactical Tuesday. It is Tuesday and I'm outside for a change. I thought it was about time I got a little bit of sun, though there is no sun in the sky today. And for all those people who are in New South Wales and I think the bottom end of Queensland, I hope you're doing all right. There's a lot of floods happening at the moment here in Australia, and the rain has started to come down here into Victoria. I don't think we're going to be experiencing any of the floods, but it's going to be raining all week. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm not here to talk about the weather. What I am here to talk about is how to put little tactics into your world that are going to help you do better in your sales and your marketing. And ideally within this group, the Future Proof group, to adapt your business for the ever-changing marketplace that you find yourselves in. Now, over there, we've got ourselves some galahs, and I was sitting underneath them before, which is why I've come all the way to the middle of the field. Hopefully you're not getting too much wind, and hopefully you're not getting too much galah sound. But what I wanted to talk about today was niches, and some people call them niches, some people call them niches. I'm one of the niches people, and there are all sorts of people in the US calling them niches and saying there are riches in those niches, and I want to talk about what that is all about today. So what is a niche or a niche? Well, it's about focusing down and getting very, very clear about who you're serving and how you're servicing them. So there are all sorts of descriptions on what a niche should be. There are people like, I think Brad Sugars over there with Action Coach, who often says, and I don't know if this is his definition, but this is the one he often says, that it's a, what's the actual phrase that he actually uses? It means no price competition. You know, that's where when you're in a niche that's there's no one in there that's actually going to fight you on price. And the one I prefer is the one where it's sort of the intersection of the detailed thing that you do with the who needs that. And so the who is the idea of niching into a who is going, all right, who can I help? Who has a problem that I can service and support and create an outcome for really, really, really well. And you'll look at that, and like for instance with my own, this is not a niche, but this is the area I focus on, which is passionate yet frustrated business owners who are sick of the 3 steps forward and 3 steps back, right? So that's sort of my market, but then I can go deeper into that and say, who specifically has a problem within that space? So, you know, there could be accountants, could be one. I could go, all right, well, I want to deal with financial planners, because that's another one. It's another way of niching it down. So you can use an industry to niche down to the problem. And there are all sorts of different ways that you can do that. And there's all sorts of reasons why you would do that. And that's a big part of what I want to talk about today. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I had a discussion with Taki Moore, who's like the coach's coach here in Australia. And I've got a podcast coming up with him on, I think, Thursday of this week. So if you're not subscribed to the podcast, go to Marketing Report with Russell Pearson. You can subscribe to that there and you'll get it as soon as it becomes live. But we talk very much in depth around niches. And funnily enough, he decides in his natural style to aim at coaching me and use me as an example on how you could potentially niche your business. But the question is why you would niche. Why would you look at niching? Because a lot of people go, well, I don't want to restrict how many people I could help, right? That's one of the objections to niching. And the question I've got for you, is that true? Are you actually ever going to run out of business? And so I was speaking to a client, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we were looking at the idea of niching. And we said, all right, well, what's a segment we can look after? And the discussion was, well, we could help tradespeople, right? So that's a niche. But I'm like, could we go further down into that niche? Could we go plumbers? Could we go maybe obscure and go locksmiths? All right. And then the question was, well, I don't want to restrict myself to just locksmiths. And so, well, why is that? Because, you know, there might not be enough locksmiths out there. But on a really quick look, and we're not necessarily going after locksmiths, but to give you the example, there were hundreds and hundreds of locksmiths within a very short driving distance from the location of where these people were. Right. So they would have hundreds of opportunities to actually get new clients. And that is just locally. So if you go much further than that, there's a massive opportunity. So why would you do it? All right, well, number one is to become the go-to expert in that space. So there are all sorts of people talking about the things that you do in business. But if you're referring it specifically to a type of who, so a who that has a problem, and I'll keep using the locksmith one because it's a really obscure and good example. So let's say let's say that what you provided was bookkeeping services, all right? Bookkeeping services for locksmiths, all right? So that's the thing. That means that if you go out there with your marketing and your communication work and say, we provide bookkeeping for locksmiths, locksmiths are going to notice, right? They're absolutely going to notice that you're talking to them. That's dog whistle copy. And there's a bit of a dog park here actually, but dog whistle copy is a great way of getting attraction. So what that means is copy that only calls out to those people you're intending to notice. So in this case, locksmiths and locksmiths who have a problem with their bookkeeping, all right? So bookkeeping for locksmiths, right? So that's the example. Now, what's another reason that people push back against it? Well, they go, all right, well, I would get bored, okay? I would get bored with just servicing that area of town. And potentially that could be true, but that would be assuming that maybe that you didn't actually deal with people, because people are quite different. There are all sorts of different people, and you get to choose the type of people that you want to work with. You know, you might go, oh, well, I don't like locksmiths. Well, that's a very, very broad definition of a type of person. You know, there might be within locksmiths, there's like, all right, there's family-orientated locksmiths that, you know, are very much about adding value for people and being very personable around family. All right, well, that might be an alignment for you. So you go, all right, well, I'm going to focus even more so in there. Now, why would you do that? So you do it because all your messaging is going to be on point and it's going to cut through all the other noise that's out there. That's definitely one, because there is so much noise, as you know, within the marketing space, where people are saying all sorts of different messages that it's hard for everybody to listen to it. Number two, your systems and processes can be set up for this specific niche, which means that, let's say we're sticking with the locksmiths that we provide bookkeeping. We know what locksmiths need when it comes to their bookkeeping. We know the specific things in their business and how their business model works, so that we can set up our systems to provide the best way of servicing just that thing, which means that we keep refining this really tight process until it is better than anyone else, which means we service them incredibly well. We get a lot more referrals on that sort of work, and there are all sorts of birds making all sorts of noise at the moment, but it's very much like the market, like everyone's chirping, right? So we get to get our processes very, very well. And then how can we do more with that, right? Well, it means with our marketing budgets are much more effective too. So let's say that you've got, I don't know, $10,000 to spend on marketing through a year. Now, if you're going to go broad marketing, you'll go, all right, well, a large chunk of that might go on advertising. And I'm assuming that we're not talking about employing people, but we may be employing people. A large chunk might go on advertising, a bit might go towards a small event, another bit might go towards some technology, some social media, post sharing, things like that. Maybe you get some copy written or some photography, right? It sort of covers everything. Now, if you then took that $10,000 and go, all right, well, what we're going to do is create the go-to event for locksmiths in Australia or wherever you are in the world, you could spend $10,000 and get some sponsorship around it and actually create an amazing event where just your market shows up. Now, every one of those locksmiths is in business, which means that they actually do have books that do need keeping, all right? So they might not need you because they've already got a great locksmith, but you get to talk to them about their specific issue around their specific business, which means that you're more likely to pick up more people in that space. Now, why haven't I niched? People might be saying, well, Russell, your niche is quite broad. And that's right. And so that's a question for me right now. Am I going to niche? Am I looking at people that I could niche with? Now, there's kind of like a compromise that people are looking at, which is that I might have 3 different niches. Now, I want to caution people around this 3 different niches idea. If you've got 3 different niches that have a very different way of delivering what you deliver, just so you can keep your hand in the game and go, all right, well, at least I'm going to be not bored because I've got 3 different types of people I'm going to work with. That's not going to streamline your services. It's not going to streamline your services at all. So if you're going to pick multiple niches, then I would suggest looking at what is the same about those niches so you can streamline that process, because that is one of the best parts about niching, is that you become the best at doing the work that you do for other people. So it's a consideration, all right? I think that if you were to honestly look at even a really, really tight niche like bookkeeping for locksmiths, you would very easily find that there is a massive opportunity there. And then potentially look at how much competition is there in that space? How many bookkeeping locksmiths, bookkeepers for locksmiths are there? And there might be a couple, but then you divide up your opportunity by that, and you'll find that you've got 10 times, if not more, the amount of opportunity that you need to run a successful business. And it's just so much easier once you get those systems in order, once you have a team that knows and enjoys supplying and delivering for that target market, then all your ducks really do get in a row, and you have a business that really gets to be a real business, which means it gets to run by itself. So niches, it's a topic of discussion. It's an idea. I'd love to know what are some niches you've thought about, even if you're not niching, in the comments below. If you are following this video later, put hashtag replay, and feel free to ask any questions there, because I'll come back and I'll give you some answers. And for everyone else, subscribe to the Marketing Report podcast, because we're going to be talking a little bit more deeply on, deeper. We're going to talk more deep. I can't even speak. We're going to go deeper on the niches subject. I want to talk to Taki more this week, and he's going to give a number of how-tos on how to select and then how to decide on which niche to look at. So Marketing Report with Russell Pearson, you can go on Apple or Spotify or any of those others and subscribe to it there. Local domination, absolutely, Tara. So yeah, local is another way that you can niche. You can niche local with the service that you do that ideally is a service that's already niched as well. So there are all sorts of ways to niche, and it's worth considering, because it may be the way to get a business where you are taking those 3 steps forward and 3 steps back and spinning your wheels all the time. It may be a way to actually get a business that then starts working in the way you've always wanted. So it's definitely a consideration for you and your business. Until next time, stay passionate. Catch you on the next Tactical Tuesday, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.